So take a look at this split screen for a moment. Trump first appearing before the public as a criminal defendant, right? And then later as the leading Republican presidential candidate for 2024. On the right, that's his safe space. That's Mar-a-Lago, where he railed against the charges. As we said, attacked the judge's family, attacked the district attorney who's prosecuting him. So let's bring in CNN political analyst and New York Times senior political correspondent Maggie Haberman. It was great to follow your tweets in real time last night as the former president was speaking. I thought it was so interesting that you said this is the most united we've seen Republicans around Trump since prior to January 6th and the insurrection.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. The New York Post front page this morning, the New York Post has been attacking Donald Trump since the midterms.
Yeah.
And today they choose Donald Trump over Alvin Bragg, right? And so I think you're going to see a lot of that because so much of our politics now is about who you are against versus what you are for. Now, is this sustainable if Trump gets indicted elsewhere, which he might? He's facing an investigation in Georgia. He's facing 2 Justice Department investigations. We expect some resolution on all 3 of those in the coming months. I don't know that much freight is sustainable, but for right now, Trump's folks are assuming that they can point to this first indictment and say, see, this means all of the rest of these are all political. And you saw Trump do that in his speech last night.
Yeah, you did. You did as well. The question about the gag order, I think, is fascinating. You and Caitlin know Trump better than anyone else in, this room, certainly. Does he keep challenging the judge here, saying, try to silence me, try to silence me, try to silence me?
Yes, but I don't think that's the only thing that he's doing. I think he is trying to get the judge to recuse himself. I think that is part of what Trump's game here is, because he
attacked the judge into recusing himself?
Into saying the judge has too many conflicts, and therefore there's going to be, that is what this is about, in part. Now, it's also in part about that Trump doesn't believe systems ought to apply to him, and he's going to push them as far as he can. But just based on conversations I had with a bunch of people last night after we saw that speech and after we finished our last together experience, Caitlin and me last night.
Our last together
experience. The people that I spoke to made very clear that this is where this is headed. That basically, remember, this judge oversaw Trump Organization trial, is overseeing Steve Bannon trial related to Alan Weisselberg's sentencing. So Trump is trying to change the judge, which is one of the things we've seen Trump do in other cases over time.
And guess what? The Trump Organization trial had business falsification charges in it, so you can't ignore that.
That's right.
We did learn some new information, though, in this indictment and statement of facts yesterday about David Pecker, who ran the company that publishes the National Enquirer, being invited to the White House to be thanked for his help to Trump during the campaign.
That was news to me, and that in everything that I read, there were a couple of things as you're reading the statement of fact that goes along with this indictment. And Paula is absolutely right in making the point that it's not clear exactly what the underlying crime that this relates to is. But when you read that statement of fact, there were so many things that happened that we had forgotten about. I had forgotten that AMI, the National Enquirer, paid a doorman who had made what turned out to be a false allegation against Trump. But buried in there is this fact that David Pecker went to the White House and Trump thanked him for his help during the campaign. It was a reminder that this case, there's been a lot of focus on Michael Cohen, who's clearly the key witness and brought the bulk of, I suspect, documents, texts, testimony. But there are other pieces that support what Michael Cohen is saying. And I think that David Pecker's testimony, remember, he was the first witness this grand jury heard from. He was one of the last witnesses they heard from. They brought him back. I think he will be really key as well.
Fascinating. Thank you very much, Maggie. We appreciate it.